Now, one thing to note is that after a guy ejaculates in you, your smell may change. And this is because your man's semen has a different pH value from that of your coochie. His semen is more basic, which is a pH value between 7 and 8, while your coochie is slightly more acidic, ranging from 4 to 6. And thus, the combination can change the smell of your coochie, and it's largely responsible for that smell of sex. And if you can put your finger in there and smell, and it doesn't stink, then you're good to go. Now, in this episode of Juiciness, let's talk about, quickly, how to make your juicy pot taste a lot better for your man. Honestly, there's certainly less information about tricks that will make your pum-pum taste good, like how eating pineapple can improve the taste of a guy's ejaculate. However, I believe that the same general principles that keep him tasty and fresh smelling down there is applicable. Now, if you're wondering, oh, how long do I have to eat pineapples before oral so that my pum-pum tastes really good before he goes down? Well, I would say that it depends on how long you've been eating it before the said oral intimacy. And that's why I would advise you to serve it every other day. And a single serving probably won't make your punani taste better. So I would advise that instead, you should add more sweet fruits to your diet overall. Look, we can't underestimate the fact that a healthy diet is very important for you to taste great down there. And, also take into cognizance the fact that eating too much sugar, processed foods, or meat has a potency of decreasing the pleasantness of your body odor. So you should be cautious about those kind of food because they make your juicy pot taste really bad. But make sure to eat plenty of veggies and fruits because these make your pum-pum tastes good. And pineapple will work for you too. Now remember that being hydrated is crucial too, as this will decrease the intensity of your sweat, your urine, and thereby flushing out toxins from your body in general. Now when toxins are flushed, you will sure have a juicy pot that tastes better. Plus drinking water is good for your overall health, is good for your figure. Remember, the body consists of about 60% water, and you need to have consumed like 2 liters of water every day. Now, imagine not consuming even half of 2 liters in a day every day. I know I mess up sometimes, but it's essential that you understand how important water is. So what makes you think if you don't consume water 2 liters every day that your juicy pot will not taste sour or acidic? What makes you think that your juicy pot will taste better? It will taste sour or super acidic, and the musky smell will intensify. So don't joke with water if you want to taste good down south to Papi. And certain things such as, smoking cigarette, drinking alcohol, or doing drugs won't help you taste good down there either. All right. So consider cutting down or quitting entirely all of these things to make your pum-pum taste and smell good. Now, let's talk about how to prepare for sex. Because if you're, concerned about how to make your pum-pum taste good and how to make it smell good, then you probably are concerned about sex, especially oral sex. So ladies, look, if you don't want your man to get turned off or grossed out, and you don't want to be so concerned about your taste and smell that you can't even enjoy it, then the key to your confidence is preparation. But best believe me when I say that guys are more concerned with how they smell down there that they don't think about your own odor. But don't try this with a man who legitly is very clean and he takes his personal hygiene to the max. They will observe the slightest abnormal stench. All right. First, I need you to bear in mind that as a woman, the juicy pot has a mild, musky, primal smell that is not offensive in any form or shade, but it's a good one for sex appeal. All right. The problem is when it becomes too strong and noticeable, especially when the AC is on. Then you know that you have some kind of infection, some BV, and you must see a gynecologist for examination. Please, if you're a regular active sexual woman, It's very important for you to go for pap smear and gyno checks periodically. Now, back to how to prepare for sex. Make sure that you do not crawl into bed with your guy after a long day of work, or after hitting the gym, or even when you have your period on. I know some women go to bed with their makeup on. They would tell you, oh, they're too tired to have a bath at night. They just take off their panties and boom, they're in bed. Come on. If you're that kind of woman, and let's say you don't have a man yet, come here. Just come here. You need to be flogged. Cause, now that you're single, you must practice bathing and brushing at least 2 times a day, in the morning, at night. That's non-negotiable. Except you're going to marry your kind who is as dirty as you are and doesn't mind that you're dirty. Then fine. If not, learn to brush, bathe, and wash your undergarments too. 2 times in a day. Some women don't even wash their panties immediately, but they just toss it to the corner, or they toss it aside, or they soak it in detergent for weeks and days until water becomes smelly. It reeks of days of underwears being soaked. Stop it, ladies. Always use and wash immediately. And sun your panties outside. And when you want to use your panties, please iron them, especially the underneath, because this will help kill germs, bacteria, and whatnot, or fungi. It will also help the coochie breathe well, especially when you're wearing cotton panties. Now, during your shower or your bath, you can rinse with mild soap or non-scented soap, body wash. You definitely want to stay away from heavily scented products because of how sensitive your coochie is as a woman, and it can be sensitive to chemicals as well. Your coochie is self-cleansing. That's the vagina is self-cleansing, so you don't need to clean inside, just the vulva. Rinse thoroughly with water and really get in there, using your finger to wash any sweat and any discharge. All right. And when you're done cleaning, thoroughly dry that area. Don't forget that moisture can get trapped in there, leading to some funky smell if you don't, clean it up. Now, one thing that I will not recommend is douching. There are advertisers out there advertising how you could use yoni drugs and douches to douche your coochie. Look, douching can actually contain chemicals that can upset your vagina's pH value. And if this causes an infection, you definitely won't taste or smell great until it's cleared up. All right. So trust me, taking a shower regularly washes off all the sweat, the dirt from the day, and it makes you feel clean and sexy. But what about when you don't have time to shower? I would recommend that you use a wet wipe for this purpose. Wet toilet paper offers, a refresher, but there are products made specifically for wiping before oral that you can consider too. Now, another simple and easy way to make your coochie smell good is to wear natural fibers such as cotton and loose pants to allow that place breathe. And this is why, because it allows sweat in that area to dry. And this is very important because sweat creates a nice home for bacteria that can lead to unpleasant, musty odor and even infection. So alternatively, you could wear panty liners with your panties to keep yourself fresh. Daily panty liners are so thin that you won't even notice them, and you can thrust them away. Plus, they also prevent your underwears from any discharge. Now, another thing that might make you smell less than fresh is excessive wearing of thongs. Trust me, I love the aesthetically pleasing look of it. But then again, that thin strips of material can transmit bacteria, and it usually doesn't leave you smelling good all day, especially when you drag it, you pull it. So it now drags, like maybe you did not clean your second hole. It now drags poop to your vagina. That tongue is fine, but stay away from it. Don't wear it too much. Too much of it, too much of everything is bad. Here is how to improve the taste and smell of your coochie during sex. Now, cranberry peels actually does improve the taste of your genitals, right? So you could try them to make your pum pum taste sweet. And also I hear that cranberry peels can help prevent or fight UTIs, but there is no research to back up that. Now I recommend Forever Living products, cranberry juice. It's really good. It works so good. I love Forever Living products. They're really good, honestly. Now, one thing to note is that after a guy ejaculates in you, your smell may change. And this is because your man's semen has a different pH value from that of your coochie. His semen is more basic, which is a pH value between 7 and 8, while your coochie is slightly more acidic, ranging from 4 to 6. And thus, the combination can change the smell of your coochie, and it's largely responsible for that smell of sex. Okay? Now, I have come to the conclusion that we as women, we seem more self-conscious about our coochies, including the way they look, the smell, the way they taste as well, than men do their joysticks. After all, a guy is always down for some head, and he will seldom give a second thought to how pleasant he smells. So realize that you might not always smell shower fresh, and that's okay. Your natural smell or your taste may not be like honey, the way it's inaccurately described in bad erotica. That's okay, all right? That's okay too. You don't need to know how to make your vagina taste good if there's nothing wrong with your natural taste to begin with. If you have a healthy coochie, you have a good taste. You have a good coochie as well. And if you can put your finger in there and smell and it doesn't stink, then you're good to go. What are you waiting for? Just go ahead and sit on his face anyway. And there is a video on how to sit on your man's face. But what's not okay is if a guy is refusing to go down on you, making you feel bad about your body for no reason. In this situation, it's totally up to you to take an option to dump his ass and find a partner who is more, giving and more reasonable. After all, sex is sometimes messy, all the time messy sometimes. It's messy and weird and awkward. And if he's not mature enough to handle that, you don't need to be having sex with him. You don't need to have sex with a man who is immature. All right? As long as you're healthy and you have good hygiene, your natural musky scent is nothing to worry about. Don't spend too much time wondering how to taste good and smell good unless it is something out of the ordinary, unless you're smelling like fish. Any partner who is worth your time will understand that too, and that's it. I hope it helps you. Well, until the next episode, stay fresh and stay fresh some more, okay? Mwah!